Hey there, writers and museators. I am super excited to be coming at you today with an amazing writer for us to celebrate today. Her name is Jeanne. Jeanne, thank you so much for being here to share your author journey with the writers over here in Write to Publish and Sell Your Novel.
Well, thank you for asking me.
So we've known each other for quite a while. So I know everything about you, absolutely everything. No, I know what it is that you're writing, but for those who haven't met you yet, who haven't seen your book yet, tell us what it is that you're writing.
Well, the book that I have been shopping is about a Secret Service agent who has dissociative identity disorder. And the book is different than what most of the books on DoD that you will read. One reason is because I have healed mostly. I wouldn't say I have completed my journey on that from dissociative identity disorder. And a lot of people want to make it something that it's not. And there's a lot of us with DID around who have very productive lives that are not causing all kinds of havoc. A lot of times the havoc is in our own lives and not in other people's, except for maybe close family. But it is just a different look at the thriller type action book, to where we usually see the person with DID is actually the serial killer that someone is looking for.
Yes, yes. And a great book it is too. This is a book that you wrote and revised here in the writing gym.
Yes.
And then we worked together to put together your submission materials.
Yes.
We had quite a bit of positive response in terms of requests for fulls and people who were really excited about it. I remember we did a Facebook Live, a couple of different ones. One, your top agent pick was somebody that I knew, high-level agent, and he requested a full. I remember we celebrated that. And also I remember that in the same week you got both a film deal and a full manuscript request. I think it was from Jeff Kleinman. So I mean, you've had some
that was the first one, and the second one, whenever it was both, it was I actually got an agent. Yes, so we were celebrating the fact that I had signed with an agent, and that I had also had been able to get a deal writing a screenplay. Yes.
Yes. So you've had some really amazing milestones in your time with us here in the writing gym, and now we're here to talk about this another amazing milestone that you had. So to spill the beans on you a little bit, you had reached out to me, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about how you'd been pitching for a while, and there wasn't really no one had said yes to this particular project yet, and that surprised me because it's very timely, it's very well written, it's it has everything going for it, the least of which is you as a writer. You're personable, you've got all the things that literary agents are looking for. And I remember on the phone, do you remember this, Jeanne? I couldn't believe it. I was like, really?
Yes.
And so tell us a little bit about how you were feeling, before we got on that call and had that chat. What prompted you to reach out to me?
I was just we had my agent had ended up had kind of retired and given my project to one of his associate agents who was really not in love with it. And so she was not sending it out. In fact, I had reached out to you and asked you earlier. I go, here, this is what she's doing. She hasn't ever talked with me on the phone. She's given me things she wants me to rewrite, but it's like, and then when I got the list of who she was sending the material to, I go, these aren't the right publishers. And I showed it to you and you agreed with me that she was not sending them out to the right publishers. So we decided that I needed to find someone who was in love with my book, because the person I signed for, the first word that he said to me was, wow. And this is how he felt about it. But then when you get someone who feels that way, but then they hand it off to someone who doesn't feel that way, it's a totally different game. And we had done that for, and I had given her the benefit of the doubt for a couple of years.
Right.
And then it was like, she absolutely is not going to try to sell this project. And you saw I shared with you all her text and what she had done, and you agreed with me. And we decided at that point we needed to go out again. And so I started shopping again. And this time it was totally different. While the last time I was getting a lot of requests and this time it was nothing, absolutely, totally dead. And so I just, was just kind of telling you, okay, it was absolutely a dud. And
right. So I'm just going to jump in here, because what I remember happening during that time, right, is one, I had to help you to get out of that relationship with the literary agent, right? So I mean, I was really working with you to negotiate out of a bad contract. So,
right, because it was about to automatically renew.
Right, which
and
they didn't
of course
even tell
the guy
you.
I signed with wanted to sign me. And so it was on a automatic renewal. And I'm like, it's about to hit the automatic point. And this new person that he gave me to is just not in love with me, and she's not going to fight. And it's just sitting here doing nothing.
Right.
So yes, so you did help me get it. So we did work to find a way and write a way to where I could get out of the contract without upsetting anyone and hurting anyone's feelings, and for us to all walk away with a smile on our face.
Right.
Which, as we all know, that is not always a very easy trick. And but we did it, and it was it was mutual, and I think the fact is I'm probably pretty sure that she was glad of the situation, simply because it's really kind of hard when the person who owns the company gives you this person and says, here, I'm handing my client over to you, and she bombs it because she really doesn't particularly like the project. So I'm sure she was very grateful too, but you've still got to be very careful, because even if a person doesn't want to represent you, they can still get their feelings hurt. And so it's one of those tricky things about how do we do this to where everybody walks away and is happy with the situation. So yes, that was the very first part before I went back out and started sending out and shopping.
Right. So, in terms of your work in the writing gym, I mean, kind of a one-stop shop here in terms of helping you to write the book, helping you to revise the book, pitch the book, and then really tweaking your pitch plan, helping you to negotiate with literary agents, helping you to get a top literary, like you got to the front of the line and got a super quick response. I mean, this level of service, but wait, there's more, right? So now you're shopping out this book, very different experience, as you
Mhm.
pointed out. And no one's picking it up. No one's picking it up. And so
Right.
fast forward to what I said before, you and I got on a call, and that full level of service here being, after I said, gosh, Jeannie, I don't even know how this is possible that this is happening with this book. I picked up the phone and spoke with, a handful, half a dozen literary agents I know, and said, hey, what's going on here? We've got this viable project. We've got this viable author who's got really great credentials and, the chops. What's happening? And, put our heads together based on what's publishing right now,
Mhm.
what the publishing industry is looking for, because obviously literary agents know that it's their job. If they don't know that, they have hungry children, right? I mean,
For sure.
they're not making a living. They have to know what's being looked for. And so what happened as a result of that conversation is that we have actual real-time data from the publishing industry to, we're not going to rewrite the whole book. We're not going to like change your characters, or it doesn't require a major overhaul, but we do have a really clear direction on how we're going to position this book. Because what we found out, of course, Jeannie, is that even in that short period of time, it was
Mhm.
like 6, 8 months, something like that,
Mhm.
the publishing industry had changed so much that we went
Right.
from full manuscript requests to crickets. And that
Right.
happens, right? And people think,
Yes.
oh, people think it's always going to be the same, or the rules today are the same as the rules yesterday. No, the reason why in the writing gym we get it straight out of the horse's mouth, the reason why I pick up the phone and talk to literary agents is so that we can get this up to the minute information. I can say, hey, Jeannie, here's here are the conclusions. And the thing about talking to that many literary agents is that it's not just somebody's opinion, it's not just somebody's preference. It's like, okay, these are the things that are taste. These are the things that they're all saying. So this is what we need to do.
Mhm.
Um, so now you've got this information, we're going to be working on this actively. How does it feel to have that level of information, that level of data to be able to now apply to getting your manuscript published?
Well, that type of information is very important because this is one of the things that in any kind of entertainment, publishing, production, anything like that, is there are people, the distributors, the publishers, the whatever, that they determine what is going to be published and what is going out. And you can have a great writer, you can have great works, you can have all of it. But if you're not what they consider marketable, in that you don't have something that they're absolutely looking for at the time and the way they're looking at it, then it's not going to go anywhere because it is a business. And I I absolutely knew that whenever I wasn't getting any request. And there are some other things I started noticing too, about what was getting published and what was going. That was the time I was in right now with my book. That I was in a time to where it was a different marketing time. The industry had totally changed.
Right. And
Mm.
I'm just imagining this parallel universe in which you're a writer trying to navigate this on your own.
Mhm.
You would have no way of knowing, like, is it me? Is it the book? Are things different in the
Right,
industry? Is it my query
exactly.
letter? Like, the sky's the limit on what is it?
Mhm.
And so, like, even there, thinking about the difference of like complete ignorance
Uh-huh.
of what's going wrong, that situation versus where you are now, where you're like, okay, I have a very targeted idea. Like, if it were me, I'd be feeling like some security or like some confidence. Like, I would just feel better. How does it feel for you?
Um, yeah, one of the things that you have to be able to have, and again, any entertainment, whether you're an actor, a writer, whatever, is you have to be able to accept rejection and not look at rejection as a personal deal. There could be so many reasons why you are not selected for whatever, or your book is not picked up, and a lot of these other things. So you have to be very thick-skinned as far as that is concerned. One of the things that I've liked about the writing gym is the fact that you start people out at the very beginning when they may come to you and haven't written a word, or they come with a manuscript that's not totally finished. And from the very beginning, when you're working with them, you try to get them to celebrate the little things. And then when we start shopping our work and we start pitching agents, one of the things that you have us do is celebrate our celebrate our no's. And it's because usually you can learn a little bit of something every time there's a no. And you do want the people who are not going to be who are not going to be excited about your project and not are going to be working with it. I had an agent just yesterday. I got another rejection letter from 6 months ago. But I really like what she said. This is a good project. However, it doesn't hit my heart where it needs to hit my heart. Mm. And I liked that because I think that's so important. And now that I have had an agent where it didn't hit their heart, I appreciate that so much more. And so, one of the things you have taught us is when you hear that, when someone says it hasn't hit my heart, then that you don't want that agent. You're wasting your time if you're going to get that person. And so it still takes a toll. You mean every time you hear a no and you hear a rejection and you hear that, it does take a toll, even though you know why it is. And it gets to be discouraging. But it is nice to know whenever you have the opportunity to be able to find out why, because you do question it. You do question. One of the things I really felt, because I could see how the industry was changing and I could see what was being accepted and which wasn't. In fact, I am changing a film project right now because the market changed in the last 2 years, and I'm having to rewrite to reflect that market change. So I could really see that. But then again, the market's changed. Is your project still viable, or do you need to wait a couple of years until, because everything cycles around and comes around? Do you need to wait a few years, or is there something you can do in order to make it viable at the present time? And so you don't know those answers. You need someone who is on the inside, who is able to see that and to furnish those answers. And that is what you do.
I love that, Jeanne. Thank you so much for sharing that. And, we're really celebrating you and your progress. So, I'm curious if there are people out there who are listening to this and they're thinking, well, I don't know, would it work for me? Should I even bother to get on a call? What advice would you give to that person?
It doesn't matter what place you are in your writing. One of the things I've said multiple times before, if you're starting to write a project and you're debating on whether to go get a master's degree or use Annalisa, Annalisa wins over, because we've had, you've had many people with masters in English and writing as your clients, and possibly PhDs. Because one of the things that college does not teach you that is extremely important is marketing. And also how to, as you say, how to live the writer's lifestyle. And part of living the writer's lifestyle is being able to accept the no's, being able to know, okay, this is not working out. There's something that's not right here. We need to stop right now. We need to re-examine. Insanity is repeating the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And you can, if you're doing everything right, because you can do everything right, everything that your master's program tells you to do, you can do and not have any results. And that's one of the reasons a lot of people with master's degrees are coming to you, is because there's more to it. It's a business, and so many, just like colleges and universities, they don't treat it like a business. They treat it like writing. And so you get some really great writers who don't understand. So you've got to be able to look at it as a business. So it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're just starting out and all you are teaching people from the very beginning, whether they haven't written their first word or they're shopping, or like me, I have had an agent. I've worked with an agent. I've had a book published. I've had other things, but yet still you have to negotiate the business where the business is at the present and not what it was in the past. And you keep your thumb on things that are current.
Oh, I love that, Jeannie. Thank you so much for sharing that with all of the writers out there, and for really inspiring all of us with your journey to publication, the films that you're writing. I mean, you're just doing amazing, amazing work. And I can't wait to have this novel out here. I can't wait to our celebration where we're celebrating that, because now it's just a matter of time now that we've tweaked your marketing plan. So your marketing and submission plan. So, so proud of you, Jeannie. Thank you for sharing your journey and for your inspiration here today.
Thank you.
And we'll wish everyone, as we always do, until next time, happy writing.
Bye.